So welcome everyone. So thank you everyone for being here. My name is Traci Bartlow. I'm one of the collaborators in this exhibition. I want to thank the Oakland Museum for making this happen. It's pretty awesome. So these are two of my collages that are exhibited here. I also have a photograph there. And also when you come into the entrance, then you can see one of my photographs. It's the image that's on the wall on the left side. So it's pretty incredible that I'm here right now. This is such an awesome moment. I want to share with you that less than 6 months ago, I took dozens of boxes out of storage with the intention to create a photo exhibition of my work when I was a hip-hop photojournalist back in the 90s. So these images, I have not looked at them in 12 years. They were all in storage. And so I was like, I'm going to create a photo exhibition. It's going to be like collages and photos and an augmented reality app and a podcast and all of these things. And before I could barely open up a box, the Oakland Museum was like, hello? We'd like for you to be a collaborator, and yes, we want them all. And I'm like, oh my God, I'm not ready. And so that's the feeling that I'm having right now. I felt that I was not ready, like, oh, there's so much I have to do in organizing this whole archive of images. But these are two of the images that I said, well, these are ready to go. So they're images of 1994 and 1997. And in each year, it's images of things that I shot within that year. The full series is from 1993 to 2000. And within those 8 collages, there are so many stories. And the stories are what will be the podcast, the material of the podcast. So these images will be a part of the full exhibition, which is called Oakland Picture Lady, Tales of a 90s Girl. I want to tell you how I got the name Oakland Picture Lady. My background is in dance. Dance is my first love. And I spent so much time dancing and performing. I'm born and raised in Oakland. At the tender age of 19, I moved to New York with the scholarship to the Alvin Ailey American Dance Theater. I studied at the Ailey School, and this was in the mid-80s. This was in the mid-80s. And when I got to New York, all the dancers were like, let's go to the club. And so I'm 19, barely 20, so I hadn't experienced club culture before. So I started going to the clubs in New York, and that's where I was like, oh, this is the same hip-hop stuff that I was doing back home in Oakland. But at that time, it was not called hip-hop. The phrase had not been coined yet. So I had this experience of being at ballet bar in the morning, Graham classes, Horton classes, all of these different modern dance techniques at the Ailey School, and then at night I was like, I'm going to the club. And I was a club head, and so I kept my hip-hop skills intact at the same time as my dance and modern jazz dancing. So in the early 90s, I moved back to Oakland. And I'm from deep East Oakland. And all the people in my neighborhood was like, what's up, Traci Bartlow? You've been in New York, what's going on? And so I was so excited, and I saw my community through new eyes. I had traveled to different countries. And then I was back home, so I was like, this is my neighborhood, these are my folks. And I had a 35mm camera, and I just photographed everyone. And I became the neighborhood picture lady. So I was always on call to document birthday parties and all kinds of events. If it was a cookout or a holiday where black folks was barbecuing, I was walking down the street with my camera like, hey, y'all want some pictures? Yes, I'll take a bottle of beer. Yes, I'll take some ribs. Yes, I'll have some potato salad. And so I had this beautiful experience of reconnecting with my community and taking their pictures. So I was moving back and forth between New York and the Bay Area. I wasn't quite firmly back home in the Bay Area. So there was a moment where I was back in New York, and in addition to pursuing dance, I was also pursuing modeling and acting. I wanted to be a supermodel like Linda Evangelista and Naomi Campbell. And so I had a call for a modeling job at the Source magazine. So I went to the Source magazine for this modeling call, and I did get the job. But while I was there, I said, I would love to work for this magazine, and I'd like to take pictures. And they said, okay, we'll introduce you to the photo editor. And so I'm in the photo editor's office, and he said, let me see your portfolio. I pulled out this snapshot book that I bought at Walgreens with these 4x6 colored photographs in it of these hood-ass East Oakland people. And he said, that's your portfolio? I was like, yeah, I love to take pictures. And he looked through the snapshot book and he smiled. He said, you have a great eye. If you get pictures of the hip-hop industry in the Bay, send them to us and maybe we'll publish them. And that's how I segued my way into being a hip-hop photojournalist. So here we are, fast forward to 2018. It was actually pity. It was intimidating when you all came to see my work, because I was like, I am just barely opening up these boxes and looking at these images. So when I had this opportunity, I was like, okay, sure, come by and I'll show you what I have. So now I'm in this place of developing a full show of my work, and it will have all 8 of the collages from 1993 to 2000, as well as about 20 images of fine art photographic prints. So I'm preparing for this show, and I'm slated to open it in the fall of 2018. So I hope you all can experience the entire exhibition. Thank you. I have 1, 2, 3, and then as I mentioned, when you first walk in the doors, it's a big wall photograph, and that's my other image. So if you have any questions or comments, is there 1 or 2 stories that are captured here that you want to share with us? Yes, this one right here. That picture. This picture of Queen Latifah. I shot this picture at Summer Jam. And so I think it was in the very early 90s. No, it was like maybe the late 90s. It was the late 90s. So this was 94. So in the late 90s, Queen Latifah released a book called Ladies First. And she had a book tour, and the book signing was at Marcus Books here in Oakland. And so I got in line, and the line was like out the store and wrapped around the block. So I got in the long line to buy the book. And then as I'm in the line to get the book signed, I'm looking through and I see a picture that I took from this day. I'm like, this is my picture! Oh my God. And so, being that I'm not a trained photographer, sometimes I would send my photos with a cover letter to record labels and management companies and just say, hey, I'm a photographer. Here's a great picture of your artist. If you're ever in the area, you need some photos, give me a call, and that kind of thing. And I probably didn't put a good, photo credit on the back. So I'm going to give them that one. So, my photo ended up in her book.
That's fantastic.
I get out of line, I run home to my apartment by the lake, I get the negatives, I get the other prints, and I get back in line. I get back to the store, I get back in line. And so then there's a person that says like, oh, you know, they usher you up to see the queen. And I say to her, I say, there's a photograph in this book that's mine. And she was like, what, you want money? I was like, I don't know what I want. I want somebody to know that this is my photo. And she took me up to Queen Latifah and she says, this lady said that there's a photo of hers in this book. And Queen Latifah did the same thing. And then she paused and she was like, well, which one is it? I said, here's the photograph, here's the negative, and here are other pictures from that same moment. And the room was silent. And Queen Latifah took a deep breath and she said, well, what is it that you want? I said, I would like credit that this is my photograph. I would like to get paid for my work. I love you. I would love to work with you. And she said, well, okay, here's the number to my publisher. Contact them and I'll see what we can do. So I prepared an invoice. I charged them 3 times as much as if they had asked me in the first place. And it took a year before I was paid in full.
Wow. But you got there, you spoke up for yourself, and you got the recognition you deserve. That's great.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing that, Traci, and thank you so much for sharing your work with us in this exhibition. We really appreciate it. We would not be here without you and all of our other collaborators.
You have an amazing team of collaborators. Congratulations to you all, because this is phenomenal.
All right, thank you all.
Maybe I was calm, but it was really scary to me because I was like, oh, there's so much that I wanted to do. A nice start to life if you put something in advance.
Well, you know, one of our goals is research. I follow everybody on Instagram. Now that's how I know what's going on because I'm not out and about.
Yay! Thank you. I'm very appreciative of all of this.
So you're going to go back to work for your
Yes. And I'll do a little something for
this is actually the one that my wish week before. Oakland Museum is big, but in the museum world, we're and it's interesting in between. I wish we had all that available to do activation and
space where you can have so many things to do. So it's very engaging. And so that makes it feel like so much a part of the community. This is my friend, good friend, Corey Action.
Hi, nice to see you.
He's another Bay Area icon. And
a Bay Area documentarian, I can tell.
Yes, cultural leader.
I was like, did I make it on the wall? And I did.
Oh, good. Where are you? Show me.
I'm right there.
Oh, nice.
In the,
Fantastic.
that's my dress that I made.
Dress.
I made that dress.
He made that dress.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
I was like, I made it on the wall.
Fantastic. Well, I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your evening. And you can,
and so I'm like,